Welcome, I'm Nathanael Lathrop with Crosswork Productions, and today I'm going to show you how to make some DIY overhead diffusion. So if you've done much outdoor filmmaking, you know that diffusion is a big part of cinematic lighting. One of the best ways to get diffusion is with a 5-in-1 reflector, which comes with diffusion, and diffusion is a really nice way to get soft light on your actors. But for my purposes, since I don't have anyone to hold diffusion while I'm filming for the most part, I wanted a way to be able to have diffusion above the subject without having anyone hold it, and also be able to cover more space. So something that I came up with was this, which is basically just some white fabric with some larger diameter PVC. So here's my setup where I mounted my diffusion on 3 of my light stands. I drilled small holes in the PVC, which I used to lodge the stand mounts into. The whole thing was a little bit tipsy, but it worked out for this example. I set my Nikon 7200 up and plugged in my iCan monitor with an HDMI extension cord, mainly to see what I was doing. As I stand in the sun, you can see that one side of my face is very overexposed and unfixable even with color correction and grading. But as soon as I step under the diffusion, my whole face is nicely exposed and the sun's light is soft. And since I got a bit of the pipe in the shot, I just added a letterbox which covered it up and made the shot look a little more cinematic. Then I set up my camera, monitor, and some bounce, and tried to capture a couple shots to test out how the diffusion would look if I used it in a conversation setting for a scene. And apart from the poor framing, it seemed to work pretty well. If I were to build one of these again, I would use a smaller diameter PVC to make it lighter, and then I would use shower curtain versus this white fabric because it's a little more transparent, and it also is going to weigh a little bit less. And now I'm going to show you a 3D model of what I would probably build in the future if I were to build one of these again. But this one won't require you to use your light stands, and it also would be lighter and a little bit more practical as well. So here's a little 3D model that I made in Motion 5. I made it so that it looked like it was made out of PVC, which could be the best material. You could also get some metal piping that might be stronger and definitely more durable. But I just had some longer feet sections and a T-joint and another connector right here. And then the whole purpose of this being on 2 legs versus 3 is that you'd be able to rotate this whole diffusion panel up and down on one side or another. For structural and strength reasons, I would probably make the feet out of, I would use C-stands, which I know are fairly expensive, but if you had access to them, they would be very strong, and they can usually go up to about 10 feet. Which would be really helpful, and you wouldn't have to worry about getting the diffusion in your shot if you've got your actor under it or anything. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a like, and if you want to keep up to date on some of my other work, go ahead and subscribe.